This meeting of the Littleton Licensing Authority will come to order. First off, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out in this weather tonight. Can't be that pleasant. Next, the first item of business is roll call. Will the city clerk please call a roll?
Authority Member Bradish.
Here.
Vice Chair Cole.
Here.
Authority Member Levere.
Here.
Authority Member Mather.
Here.
Authority Member Odell.
Here.
Authority Member Peterson.
Here.
Authority Member Webb.
Here.
Everyone's present. We do have a quorum. Next item of business is approval of the agenda. Everyone's had a chance to look over the agenda. Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll move that we approve the agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next item, approval of certification of minutes from our last meeting.
I'll move that we approve the certification of the minutes from the 9/10 meeting.
I will second
the
that.
motion. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Next item, item number 7, liquor license application hearings. We have 3 this evening. First one, item 7A, resolution to approve a liquor license application for Faux Real LLC, doing business as Faux Real, 2399 West Main Street in Littleton. We have some attachments.
Exhibits A through G.
I'll move that we enter exhibits A through G.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. My name's Carl Ream. I'm an attorney licensed in Colorado. My bar registration number is 19397, and I'm counsel for the liquor license applicant, Faux Real LLC. I have with me 2 witnesses that I wish to call tonight. One is from Esquire Petitioning Services. She did the needs and desires survey for us. And the other one is Trong Nguyen, who is the principal of Faux Real LLC. Did you need to swear them in, or?
We should, yes.
If I may, Chairman?
Pardon me?
If I may I go over just a few items on this application with the authority? It might help with the testimony and questioning. So 2 things, if you read through the staff communication, I won't go through it all, but there were 2 concerns by staff that I'd ask the applicant to address with the authority. The first was there was a lien that counsel for the applicant had said had been released. We didn't receive any documentation to that effect, so I would ask for that to be entered into the record this evening. And then also on the application, there were some items that he failed to disclose on the license application that came up in the police report, and you'll see that in Exhibit B.
And can I ask, just this applicant was here somewhat recently. Is it a change in type of license? No?
He has never been licensed.
No, okay. I thought I remember.
I thought I did too.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, this is a new license,
Okay.
hotel and restaurant liquor licenses, this application.
Who wants to speak first? We're familiar with you, but I still have to swear you. You swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give before this authority is truthful?
I do.
State your name, please.
Carol Johnson with Esquire
you.
Petitioning Services.
Good evening, Ms. Johnson. Go ahead and stand. Ms. Johnson, was your company hired by my office to do a needs and desires survey?
Excuse me, Carl, I need you to speak into the microphone. Thank you.
Well, keep each other warm tonight.
Sometimes the attorney will come around to the other side of the podium.
Over here where you're a little closer.
Okay, sure.
And then,
Ms. Johnson, was your company hired by my office to do a needs and desires survey for the Faux Real LLC?
Yes, we were.
Okay. And can you tell the board here your methodology and the results of this survey request?
Certainly. Our team of petitioners met at the location, and we reviewed the paperwork as to the type of license, the area to be covered, hearing date, anything applicable. We did all 4 quadrants around the location, and we did a total of 486 door knocks, of which 159 people signed the petition, 36 declined to sign, 7 were ineligible, and 304 did not respond to the door. We had 135 residents and 24 business owners or managers in support of the license for a total of 159. We had 0 in opposition for residents and for business owners or managers. So the results in total were 159 in favor for 100%. And I will answer any questions you may have.
The board would like to inquire from Ms. Johnson.
It looks like it was a pretty definitive result, 100% approval. I don't recall seeing that before, but that's a good thing.
A lot of the people are familiar since the restaurant was already open.
Exactly.
Thank you. My next witness is Mr. Trong Nguyen, who is the principal for Faux Real LLC.
You swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give before this authority is truthful?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. State your name, please.
My name is Trong Hugh Nguyen,
How do you spell the last name?
Nguyen.
We just pronounce that Nguyen, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. Nguyen, can you tell us what your address is?
2399 West Main Street, Littleton, Colorado.
And how are you related to Faux Real LLC?
I'm the sole owner.
What's the name of the business and the location for your restaurant?
Faux Real LLC. It's at 2399 West Main Street, Littleton, Colorado.
And what type of a business do you run there?
It's a Vietnamese restaurant.
And how long have you been open?
We've been open a little bit over a year now.
Okay. How's business doing?
It's doing fantastic. I love the area. The people are great and very supportive, obviously. So it's been a terrific experience working with the city of Littleton and the community.
Do you have a lease for this business?
Yes, a 5-year lease.
And currently, how many employees are working at your restaurant?
10 employees, including myself.
As you hire new employees, do you do some type of a background check on them?
Yes, sir. I ask for references and I do a criminal background check.
Are all of the employees working at your restaurant over 21?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell us a little bit about your experience with the selling of alcohol?
Well, I've been in business now for over a year, and I've also read the Colorado Liquor book, the handbook there, code book, and then I also took my tips training. And then my family's owned restaurants my whole life. My mom's held liquor licenses in Greeley and in Denver, so she's back there. She kind of walks me through it, you know what I mean? So, with mom's help.
And what kind of training will you have your employees go through?
Well, I definitely will have them trained to check for IDs and make sure people are of age. And then I would also ask them to read the Colorado Liquor Code book, and also I would ask them to get their tips training.
Now, since you've read the Colorado Liquor Code book, how old does somebody need to be in order to purchase an alcohol beverage at your restaurant?
21 years of age or older.
What's the best way to tell if somebody is 21 or older?
by checking their IDs, which is about 6 IDs that you can check, I believe. It would be a Colorado State-issued ID, a driver's license, a military ID, a passport, I believe, a employee's ID from the INS, and I think that might be it, and I think that's it.
Can you ever serve alcohol to anyone you suspect of being drunk?
No, sir. And
How do you tell when somebody is drunk?
slurred speech, problem standing, redness of the eyes, redness of the face, they smell like alcohol. Pretty easy to tell when somebody's intoxicated.
If you ever have any disturbance at your restaurant, do you know what you're supposed to do?
Yes, I'm supposed to call 911 and report it right away.
Where will you keep all the financial records for your business?
At the restaurant.
You know where you're supposed to buy all of your liquor inventories?
Licensed wholesalers.
Can you describe a little bit about where you're going to store the liquor upon your restaurant?
Yes, sir. The liquor, we will build a liquor lockup in the basement, just like McKinner's Pizza did, and keep it locked up down there.
And as far as the liquor that your servers are going to serve your guests, where will that be stored?
That would be in the refrigerator up above.
Okay. There's a little beverage cooler right behind the cash register. Is that where you're planning to store that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you know that with this particular type of a license, we've applied for a hotel and restaurant class license. You understand that you have to sell at least 25% of your sales in food.
Yes, sir. And I don't believe that to be a problem because currently, like I said, we've been open for a year, so 100% of sales is food.
What hours will your restaurant be open?
We are open Monday through Saturday from 11 to 9, and then Sundays from 12 to 8.
If you were to get this liquor license, will your hours be changing?
No, sir.
During the time that you've been open, have you had requests from your guests to be able to purchase alcohol?
Yes, sir. That's why I'm standing in front of the board today, is a lot of patrons that come in, they ask if we would get at least beer or wine, so.
Now, when the police were doing the background investigation, they noted that there was an IRS tax lien against you.
Yes, sir, there was.
Can you tell us a little bit about how that came about?
In 08, I had opened up a couple of businesses, and it was really tough at the time. I fell behind. I sold the businesses in the understanding that the new owners would take care of that. It was not taken care of, so I went out immediately when I found out and took care of everything. It has all been satisfied through the federal government.
And then in our application, you did disclose some of the criminal record that you had, did we not?
Yes, sir. To the best of my abilities and my knowledge, I disclosed everything truthfully and honestly on that. So if I have missed anything, I am truly sorry, and I can definitely explain whatever it is that is missing.
Okay. Your record shows an arrest for a felony. What happened there?
That was actually I believe that was a minor charge on that, and we were kids, and we were like egging houses and TPing and got in trouble.
So that was when you were under 18?
Yes, sir, it was.
Okay. And then it looks like there's a year 2000 charge for domestic violence.
That was a misunderstanding, and it was deferred by the judge in Inglewood. It was a 1-year deferral. I finished it all up, and he did release me of that. So it is still on my record, but I was never charged with that.
And then you had a 2008 DUI possession of marijuana charge. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, sir. I made a mistake. I was out drinking and driving. I got in trouble for it. I served it all up. I finished it. I finished all my classes with not any problems, on probation with Jefferson County and everything else, and it was all satisfied and taken care of.
And it says you have a total of 18 restraints against your driver's license since 1992. Now, some of those were for when you were a minor. Is that right?
Yes, sir. I was just trapped in the vicious circle of losing my driver's license and then driving with no insurance and then getting in trouble. And then through the course of it all, yes, sir, that's what had happened. There was no accidents or anything like that. It was just more or less getting pulled over and not having insurance and such. But ever since then, I have not had any of those issues. I've just trying to correct my life, open up a small family business, and move forward and just do the best I can to be better in the community and be better for myself and my family.
So that's what I was going to ask you. Have you had any episodes like this, say, during the last 5 years?
No, sir. After my last DUI, I even quit drinking. I don't drink, and I haven't had anything wrong since then. That was pretty much the last straw that broke the camel's back for me.
So you learned a positive lesson from all these restraints?
Yes, sir, I have. So I keep everything right where they need to be now and just try to move forward with my life. So,
If granted this liquor license and you're serving alcohol at your restaurant, will you have a policy about who you ask identification from?
yes, sir. If you're not over the age of 30, you're going to get ID'd. So,
And will your employees understand that this is a policy that they must follow?
yes, sir, because be completely honest, with all the trouble that I've been through in my past, the business that I run now and everything that I do in my business is very on the up and up because I do not ever want to fall back into the spot that I was in back in my younger years. So everything is wide open. My books are wide open. Everything is honest, and I'm just trying to do the best that I can so that I don't ever slip up again.
With everything that's happened in your past, do you think you've learned your lesson?
I've learned my lesson more so, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Do you believe you have the good moral character that's going to be required to hold a liquor license?
Yes, I do. Granted, liquor license, I understand that it's a privilege. Going through all my troubles in life, I do know things that are privileges and stuff that you can get. And when you get privileges, then you have to hold on to those, and you got to take care of those privileges.
And tonight, are you asking this board to approve your application for this liquor license?
Yes, I am.
Thank you. I have no further questions, and I would turn Mr. Nguyen over to the board for further questioning.
Thank you.
How many employees did you say you have?
I have 10 including myself.
Okay, and so you're tips trained?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Okay, and you said you're going to ask the rest of them to be tips trained, or?
I will ask the servers. I don't believe that I will ask the kitchen staff to be tips trained, but the servers will be, and then I will also pay for that for them to get it, to ensure that it will be, that they'll get it.
So you're going to ask them or make it a requirement?
It'll pretty much be a requirement if I'm going to pay for it. My employees pretty much have an understanding that, licensings and stuff like that, that when you're employed by somebody that is willing to pay for it, there's no problem. You should get it. I mean, it's just like a degree, you should get something if somebody's willing to pay for it for you.
And then you say you're going to have a locker in the basement where you're going to keep the alcohol?
Yes, for the lockup. Yes, ma'am. Because McKinner's Pizza is right next door to me. Kevin is the owner there. He's been there for about 7 years. And I've actually grown to have a relationship with him because I am next door to him. And he showed me how he's got his stuff handled over there and everything else.
And how many people will have access to that locker? I assume it's going to be locked up.
It will be locked up, and it will be myself and the manager there. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
The alcohol that you serve, will that include mixed drinks?
No, sir. I'm strictly going to do the beer and wine.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
That explains why there's no bar?
Yes, sir. No bar. We're not intending for that. Like I was saying, the reason I am standing in front of you is because a lot of my patrons do ask. I am losing out on some business, and I would just like to have the same, I guess you'd say, advantages or whatever, same as everybody else that opens up a business. Just the same, opportunities to satisfy my patrons.
Did you have something for us, Kristen?
Yes, I do have a certificate of release of federal tax lien dated October 15, 2014 from the IRS. I would ask that we admit it as Exhibit H.
I'll move that we admit it as Exhibit H.
I'll second that. Okay.
Any further questions?
Do you vote on?
Do you want to do a roll call vote or just a consensus vote on the motion to?
Let's do a roll call vote for the record. Anyone
Mr.
want
Chairman, this is just to admit the exhibit.
What's that?
Just to admit the exhibit.
We added Exhibit H, which was the notice of the release of the tax lien.
Do we need a motion for that?
We already did the motion.
Motioned
did the
it and
motion.
seconded it.
I didn't hear it. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? No opposed, the motion is carried.
We see it. Please.
Thank you. Well, I think your attorney asked a lot of the questions that we usually ask.
Yes, ma'am. I'm super nervous, so I'm sorry. You know,
My preparation for this hearing involved a lot of questions about your prior record, which were very concerning to me at the time. Your attorney asked more questions than I would have asked. But I just want you to understand that I, for one, am concerned with your past record and your ability to stay on the straight and narrow, and your ability to expect the same thing from your customers. It's
yes, sir.
it's kind of an impressive, in a negative way, background.
Well, you haven't had any problems in quite a while.
No, ma'am. Not for a very long time. And my last hiccup was the DUI in 2008. And ever since then, I've satisfied all that. I have not lost my driver's license. I went through the blow and go program, all that. I went through all the counseling. I didn't have any failures or anything like that. Everything was released on time. And because of my past record, I had to do intense supervised probation in the city of Jefferson County. And I was totally, everything was okay. I did not have any slips up with him. I carry a driver's license right now. My insurance is withdrawn directly out of my bank, so that doesn't ever happen anymore. And as soon as I noticed that I was mentioned that there was a tax lien, I rushed out to the IRS and fixed it right away. So I'm just asking for an opportunity to show that I am changing my life, and I want better things for my family and better things for the community and my employees and everybody else. And like I said earlier, I really, really do understand that it is a privilege, sir. So I do understand that if you guys were to grant me this, it is very much a privilege, and I will hold my employees and myself very responsible for it, because I understand that second chances are very hard to be given, and that's all I'm asking for. Thank you.
You mentioned the blow and go program.
Yes,
How
ma'am.
long a program is that?
That was 2 years. I had the blow and go in my car for 2 years, and I did not have one failed blow whatsoever.
So you have to blow into it for the car to start.
Yes, ma'am.
And then do you have to do it at different times during the day, too?
It actually goes off every 5 minutes, pretty much.
Okay.
So while you're driving, you still have to blow in it.
Pretty intensive.
It is. It is very. And if you fail or if you try to blow in it and fail a couple of times, they extend it. And they also, so yes, it's pretty, yeah.
I don't have any more questions at this time. Thank you.
Anyone else? I don't. Let's look for a motion.
Oh, sorry, Mr. Chairman, this is a public hearing, so if there's anyone from the public that would like to testify.
Oh.
Did you want to see if there's anyone else in the room that wants to?
I didn't see anybody that signed up to speak, so I assume there wouldn't be. Is there anyone else who would like to speak involving this application?
Is your mother going to speak?
She's here for support.
Okay.
She just makes the yummy, yummy broth.
She needs what? Did she have something to do with this change of character? Great.
Now can we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing and that a resolution of the Littleton Licensing Authority be approved which grants Pho Real LLC doing business as Pho Real 2399 West Main Street, Littleton, Colorado, a hotel and restaurant liquor license contingent upon approval by the Colorado Liquor Enforcement Division and based upon the following findings of fact. 1, that the notice of the public hearing was properly posted and published. 2, that the applicant has possession of the premise and the premise are suitable for the requested license. 3, that the needs of the neighborhood are not now being met. 4, that it is the desire of the adult inhabitants of the neighborhood that the license be issued. 5, that existing similar liquor licenses in the designated neighborhood are not adequate. And 6, that the applicant and registered manager is a person of good moral character, record, and reputation.
I second the motion. City Clerk, would you poll the authority, please?
Authority Chair Bradish,
Yes.
Vice Chair Cole,
Yes.
Authority Member Levere,
Yes.
Authority Member Mather,
Yes.
Authority Member Odell.
Yes.
Motion is carried. The application is approved. Thank you for your time. Best wishes to your business.
Good luck to you.
Don't come back.
In the pint room.
Next on the agenda, item 7B. Resolution to approve a liquor license application for 2620 West Bellevue LLC, doing business as the Pint Room, 2620 West Bellevue Avenue. Good evening.
Good evening, Chairman, members of the authority. My name is Dan Carr. My registration number is 8224. I'm with the law firm of Dill, Carr, Stonebreaker, and Hutchings, and I appear on behalf of 2620 West Bellevue LLC. Present in the audience are, I have 2 witnesses as well. First of all, you commended us for being here. I'm commending the 7 of you for being here because I know your pay is extensive, and that's why I wanted to be here to make sure you got that this week, but you coming out in the weather is every bit as good as us. So congratulations for doing that. The 2 witnesses I have are Mr. Max Scott, who you're all.
Can you move the microphone a little bit closer?
Oh, sure.
Please?
It's going to pick me up, I can tell you, from past doings, but that's fine. Present in the room are Max Scott, who is, as you know, the owner and operator of Oedipus. He did the survey in our case. I'll have him come up and provide some brief comments about that survey. And then Mr. Keith Moreland, who is the sole managing member of the LLC. He is here as well. He can provide you with whatever information that you would like. And based upon the fact that I know there's no protest, I'm prepared to do that in one of 2 fashions. Either I can ask questions of Mr. Moreland and let him expound to you, or I can provide information to you in a shorter fashion and then simply open him up for questions, whichever way the authority would prefer that we proceed.
We also have Exhibits A through G.
So I'll move that we enter Exhibits A through G.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No opposed. Motion is carried. I'm gonna give you the leeway to conduct this however you think is best, sir.
Fine. On the basis that in all likelihood, at the very least, Mr. Moreland is going to answer some questions, I would simply ask that you swear in Mr. Scott and Mr. Moreland at the same time, just to expedite matters. Yeah.
There's an echo in the room.
Mr. Scott's worried about being called first, but I don't know why it matters since he's got to be here after this anyway. So put your
Mr.
hand
Scott's
up
been
and
here
test it
before.
and get
We
sworn
know
in.
him. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give before this authority is truthful?
Yes, thank you.
Mr. Scott, could you please state your name for the record, indicate what your association is with Oedipus Incorporated, and what your company did with regards to this particular application?
I'm president, CEO, guy that signs the front of the check. And the company is Oedipus Incorporated. I can give the address. Did you want me to do that? I love
That
saying
won't be
it.
necessary.
Pardon
We're
me?
very familiar with your company.
Okay, thank you. We're retained by the applicant. We prepared a briefing sheet. The briefing sheet has two parts. One is what a hotel and restaurant license is, days and hours of operation, and beverages. We also had a menu. And when we do an on-premise license, parties and interest want to know two things. What's the menu and when's it going to open? So we provided that information. As the authority knows, we allow people to sign for or against, write in any reason they'd like to communicate to the liquor authority, and there's a statement on the petition format that says if you need any more information or have any complaints about us, it provides the licensing clerk's name and telephone number, and I'll go right to the report. There are two maps in the report. On page 5 is our map, and on that map it shows the businesses in blue and the residences in pink. I think you have to turn it sideways so that the left side is north, so it shows the site location. And then after we voir dire the party in interest, we ask them and explain it. We ask them if they're for or against it, and then we allow them to sign as they would wish on the petition format. Item number 1 on page 2, I'm reporting to the client we did what we contracted to do and we were paid in advance. Thank you very much. Item number 2, qualified contacts. This is for or against for whatever reason. And we have 36 businesses favoring, 0 against. 140 residences favoring, and we had 2 people who verbalized that they were parties in interest, they favored it, they wanted to participate in the survey, but they didn't want to sign. And we had 4 residences against, no businesses against, and there's a breakdown of the reasons that were written in, primarily by people who opposed the license. In this survey category, if you round up, we have 98% favoring the issuance of the license. Margin of error is about 2%. Added in, subtracted out, it's well over 50%. Then we subtract out the reasons only and evaluate needs and desires, and the survey figure goes up, about a half a point or so to 90, or 2.5 points to 99%. Both survey categories show a need and desire for a new hotel restaurant in a defined neighborhood, and that's all I have.
Mr. Scott, I just have one question for you. Is your survey results in any way, shape, or form tied to your pay?
No, page 2 of the letter agreement says we don't guarantee survey results and we request payment in advance.
I would tender, Mr. Scott, to any member of the authority that would like to ask a question.
I have no questions.
I have no questions.
No questions.
For you. We're pretty familiar with the format.
Thank you, and we'd love to come back again for a new
Again.
application for something.
You might be.
Pardon me?
You might come.
I'd be glad.
I guarantee he'll be back, don't worry.
The only thing that retires in my life is the rims on my truck.
If I might approach the members of the authority, I'd like to provide a sample of a menu.
Thank you.
Samples.
No, not samples,
Oh,
just the menu.
Sounds like a sales pitch.
Since we're not open, that's tough to get samples.
when are you planning on opening?
Particularly
What's
in
the,
2015. Chair, members of the authority, what's before you is a sample menu. That's actually a menu that's being utilized at another facility that is related to Mr. Moreland's venture here. Mr. Moreland is involved in 3 other ventures outside the state of Colorado, 1 in Indiana and 2 in Ohio, and he's bringing that same concept here. His description of that concept is an upscale burger bar, and as you can see on the right-hand side of that particular menu, there are a lot of very unique burgers that involve toppings like crab cakes or lobster tails or things of that nature. Probably the only thing offensive on the menu is on the left side, you'll see something called JoJo's, which I didn't know what they were, so I was very curious to look and see what they were. And then the offense comes in when you see Indy cheddar. My only suggestion to Mr. Moreland is that he change that reference to Indy, because most of us are not that favorable of Indy or Indianapolis, and he's going to have to come up with a different name to appease the crowd here. What you can see, though, is that he has a very extensive menu. The locations in Ohio and Indiana currently run about 55 to 65% food, and then the alcoholic beverages are a complement to those. As I've said, those three operations have been run very successfully for years. Absolutely no liquor violations of any sort with regards to any of those. He sees an opening in the market here. There's lots of places that serve burgers and that, but there aren't people that are doing what he contemplates doing here. Quite honestly, he's hoping that this isn't the only venture that he has in Colorado. If this particular unit is successful, he has plans to move to some other communities as well. With regards to his experience, he's been in the hospitality industry for a long time. As I said, there's been absolutely no liquor violations at the other three establishments. They all have similar menus, similar ideas in mind. They like to feature craft beers. They want to feature lots of different craft beers, not just Colorado ones. There are several places that are kind of designated towards Colorado craft beers. He wants to expand upon that and offer other potential craft beers. The facilities that he operates in the other states and the way he will operate here have a zero tolerance policy. If you as a server make a mistake, you're fired. Fortunately, he's never had to do that, but that is the policy that he's employed. In addition, everybody on his staff who has any possibility of touching alcohol is TIPS trained. So he will be TIPS training everyone who in fact will have any possibility of touching alcohol. With regards to that, obviously there's sometimes a short lag in that, because if you need a server and you're hiring a server and they're not TIPS trained, he intends to, on the front end, only hire people who have been TIPS trained, giving himself enough time and leeway to accomplish that and make sure people are aware that they need to get that done. Follow-up hires, his intention is to have them trained within a 30-day period, depending upon the availability of classes. Sometimes those are available, sometimes they're not available. Mr. Moreland indicated to me that he anticipates having upwards of 65 employees. This particular facility you're probably all familiar with. It used to be the Celtic, and unfortunately the landlord there made a mistake, in at least our estimation, by letting that license lapse. Had they not done that, obviously we'd be here for a transfer. It would have been a much easier, simpler, cheaper process, but that didn't occur. So it is a facility that's been licensed in the past, and Mr. Moreland is here before you just hoping to relicense that facility and go forward with what he believes is a unique concept in the area. And again, Mr. Moreland's here. He's willing to answer anything. I simply know everybody would prefer to move on their way, so I opted to do it in a shorter fashion.
You referred to this as an upscale burger joint. Is it going to be a sports bar?
Mr. Moreland, come on up. He can answer that better than me.
No, it's not. It will not be a sports bar. We've got plenty of TVs in the place. It's very universal, appeals to multiple demographics. Upscale burger bar in the sense that all of our burgers start off with a 50-50 blend of Kobe beef and prime choice, and then we expand from there. All the product, including the cheese, is from Colorado and Ohio. It's from Ohio, and Indiana, it's from Indiana. But we really focus on the local in everything we do. If we've got, for instance, if we've got 150 taps on draft, and this is more on, and I'm talking on the draft side now, it is very Colorado heavy when it comes to the draft offering. So you might have 125 local brewers from Colorado. We try to bring everything under one roof.
Mr. Moreland, what's the seating capacity of the restaurant as you envision it?
Excuse me?
The seating capacity?
165.
Okay. And do you intend to serve hard alcohol as well as beer?
Yes, sir.
And what variety of that?
It's mainly, we do a lot with infusions, more beer cocktails. I would say probably 95% of what we serve is draft beer. We serve very little liquor in all of our other establishments.
Okay.
So is this going to be kind of what your beer menu is going to look like?
Uh,
That extensive?
Yeah, actually, it'll probably be a little more than what you're seeing right there. This particular location in Carmel, Indiana, has 124 drafts. Here in Colorado, on the plans, we're planning on 194 draft lines here.
Would you share with us your timetable?
Right now, our timetable has us set to open March 1st.
I can inform the authority that without the cooperation of the State Liquor Enforcement Division, that won't happen. And so far, they haven't been overly cooperative in that way, as Ms. Norton can. Well, never mind.
That doesn't apply to the
We'll leave
city
it
of
there.
Wilmington, though, right?
Might it be if you secure approval from this authority that it might make the state pay attention?
The problem is they claim that they're understaffed and that they can't operate very quickly, and we have simply had applications sitting there for a long time. I have talked to Mr. Moreland and told him that, quite honestly, if we get your approval, I think his risk going forward is minimal, and he can do what he needs to do from a construction standpoint to try to be ready to go. But from the standpoint of having that license in his hand to hang on the wall, we're very much at the, well, we're waiting on the state, or we would be waiting on the state. I would appreciate anything anybody could do to push them, but it's just a slow process these days.
Maybe you should shoot for a marijuana license.
Yeah, and if you did it in one fashion, it would be pretty quick.
Yep.
I'm looking at the floor plan, and I remember the Celtic had a patio in the back. Is there still going to be a patio?
Yes.
Okay.
Is it not included?
Well,
We don't seem to think it's there.
yeah. Is it?
That's either my mistake or my paralegal's mistake, and I honestly can't tell you which, but what I would like to do at this point is to have Mr. Moreland draw in where it sits. I don't have a red pen, but we would presume that it would be red instead of the black I'm going to use, and we would ask the authority to accept an amended exhibit to,
Yeah, or if you would even just describe to us where it is.
Right.
I would like you to submit to the clerk later, but if you could describe to us where it is, and then I don't want to jump in too soon, but we often like to make sure that folks know that you can't leave from a patio and take a drink with you, and describe to us kind of what that would look like to make sure that people know that.
The current patio that's already there, we do not plan on changing what is there from what the Celtic had. From where the bar is, which would be where the hostess stand, about halfway over, it comes out, I want to say about 4 or 5 feet, and wraps all the way around the backside of the building and stops right around where you're seeing the sliding glass door from what we're proposing on our.
We can put it on the overhead projector if you set it on that box there.
Yeah,
And
so if
then
you set it right
Mike,
on
can we have the overhead, please?
People at home can see
That's-
too.
that square right there. Yep, there you go.
While we're waiting, your attorney stated that with the Ohio and Indiana locations, there are no liquor law violations. Have there been any other types of disturbances that maybe aren't liquor related or that police have been called or responded to?
No, sir. It's, I'd like to think that we don't create an environment that's conducive to that. As Mr. Carr stated, our business is more, it's right around 55, 45, or 65, up to about 65% food. So the name, the Pint Room, can be a little deceiving if you're just driving by seeing it. And I'd like to say it's by design. but it's the food offering that that I think people really come back for in what we offer.
And then hours of operation, and then will the kitchen be closed at any time that you're still serving alcohol?
No, it will not. The hours of operation, Sunday through Wednesday, we usually close right around 10 o'clock. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, it's usually around midnight, but if business allows, usually till about 2 o'clock.
And in what Ohio cities do you operate?
We've got one in Lewis Center, Ohio, Dublin, Ohio, and then Carmel, Indiana.
And for the board's purposes, it's not an exact drawing, and we will provide that to the clerk before the application is submitted to the state, but that's an approximate location. And again, that's the patio that's currently there by the Celtic, when the Celtic had it, and there's no intention to change it in any fashion. And obviously, before that, patio was acceptable to both the city and the state authority.
So it has a railing?
Yes, there is.
Right. And so there's one door from the interior out to the patio, and then is there a gate in the patio to the outside?
There is, actually.
Okay.
Do you need to know where that is?
Yeah, I think I know where it is.
I think your point is there's no way to get to the patio without going into the establishment and then out to the patio, which is what we're after here.
You can get into the patio from the outside.
As of right now, you can, but that
Okay.
is the one change that we will be making.
Well, and you might check on fire code. That might
I'm
be.
not sure the building department will let you change that.
Well, you have to be able to escape,
They want that extra outlet in case something goes wrong inside.
but you can restrict people from coming in through that.
Right. In Ohio and Indiana, they have us put panic bars on the gates from the inside.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So you don't have pool tables or shuffleboard or anything like that? It's just a food and bar place?
And where will you be storing your alcohol?
It'll be locked up in a cage that's back in the office.
Can I ask, Mr. Moreland, can I ask you to pull the microphone over? You're a little soft-spoken.
It'll be locked up in a cage back in the office.
How many people will have access to it?
Only our bar manager.
How many employees do you intend to have?
Right now, we're looking probably about 60.
60? And they're all going to be tips trained?
Absolutely. That is actually a requirement in our handbook that they are tips trained. The one thing that we endured in Indiana is that we could not put anybody on staff unless they were licensed to serve liquor. That's actually Indiana law. And since then, we implemented that into all of our locations. So part of the hiring packet is they obtain tips training.
You'll have a manager?
Yes.
It won't be you?
That will
necessarily.
not be me.
Okay.
We actually, my problem right now is that I have a staff full of management. I've got a lot of people that could move up and go other places, but they honestly stick with us because we give them opportunity to move up within the same organization. So to answer your question, yeah, we have management that is actually moving out here from Indiana.
Okay.
Is there a basement there?
No, there's not.
I have no further questions. Any other authority members have questions, comments?
Should we make sure there's no one else in the audience that wants to?
Did you have anyone else that was going to speak? Is there anyone that wants to address this with us who has not?
Is your mother here?
No, she's not. My father-in-law is, though, yes.
I have no more questions.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Discussion among the authority members. I see no reason that we shouldn't just go ahead and vote.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion. Make a motion to close the public hearing and that a resolution of the Littleton Licensing Authority be approved, which grants 2620 Bellevue LLC, doing business as the Pint Room at 2620 West Bellevue Avenue, Littleton, Colorado, a hotel and restaurant liquor license contingent upon approval by the Colorado Liquor Enforcement Division and based upon the following findings of fact. 1, that notice of the hearing was properly posted and published. 2, that the needs of the neighborhood are not now being met. 3, that the applicant has possession of the premises and premises are suitable for the requested license. 4, that it is the desire of the adult inhabitants of the neighborhood that the license be issued. 5, that existing similar liquor licenses in the designated neighborhood are not adequate. And 6, that the applicant and registered manager is a person of good moral character, record, and reputation.
Second.
City Clerk, please poll the authority.
Chairman Bradish?
Yes.
Vice Chair Cole?
Yes.
Authority Member Levere?
Yes.
Authority Member Mather?
Yes.
Authority Member Odell?
Yes.
The motion is carried. Your application is approved. Good luck with the state of Colorado, and good luck with your business.
Thank you very much.
Next item, 7C, resolution to approve a liquor license application for Breckenridge Brewery, LLC, doing business as Breckenridge Brewery, 2920 Brewery Lane, Littleton, Colorado. We'll start off with the approval of the attachments.
Exhibits A through G.
I'll move that we enter Exhibits A through G.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No opposed? Motion carried. Good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
Good.
My name is Ed Cerkovnik, spelled Cerkovnik. Here with me tonight is Lee Driscoll, spelled Driscoll. My address is 5977 South Nome Street, Inglewood, Colorado, 80111. And I have no idea what his address is.
Mine is 1130 South Franklin Street, Denver, Colorado, 80210.
I will take a moment to swear the two of you. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give before this authority is truthful?
We do.
Thank you.
For the record, I am the president of Breckenridge Wynkoop LLC. Lee is the CEO of Breckenridge Wynkoop LLC. Breckenridge Wynkoop LLC is in turn the sole manager and sole member of Breckenridge Brewery LLC, which will be the owner and operator of the new brewery that we're building at 2920 Brewery Lane. Little background on Breckenridge Wynkoop LLC. We've been in business a few years. The first Breckenridge Brewery opened in 1990. I think it was the third brew pub in the state of Colorado. And Wynkoop Brewing Company was actually number one. I don't say that often, but I'll tip my hat to them beating us to the finish line. I think they opened in 1988. So we currently have 10 liquor licensed establishments in the state of Colorado, 5 of which are licensed as brew pubs, 5 of which have H&R licenses. And just for the record, most of our establishments skew on the food side. We generally average about 60% food, 40% alcohol. We're in the craft beer business. The new establishment out there will primarily feature Breckenridge and Wynkoop beers. Some other beers. We'll have a handcrafted spirits program and a very nice, robust wine program as well. So we're excited about that part of it. From a tips training standpoint, all of our people are tips trained. We have extensive training both in-house and then we bring in outside folks to conduct training with employees as well. The manager at the new establishment will be Stuart Close. His information has been provided to the city. Stuart's been with us since, I believe, 1991. He's currently the manager of the Breckenridge Brewery, which is located at 471 Calamus Street in Denver, which is our current brewing facility. Any questions on what we're planning to do here in Littleton or
In
otherwise?
your restaurant part, bar and restaurant, what type of food do you plan to serve?
It's top secret. I guess I have to divulge that because actually we're working through the menu now. We have a corporate chef, and he will work. We've already hired we're moving one of our existing chefs from Breckenridge, Colorado, down to this facility. And they're developing the menu as we speak. But the name of the restaurant is going to be the Farmhouse at Breckenridge Brewery. So it'll feature a farm-to-table menu that'll have meat, fish, chicken, pork, extensive salad selection, broad appeal for, that'll cover a broad cross-section of the public.
Will you have a tap room that's separate and licensed to the state, or will all the beer that you serve on your premise, or all the alcohol on your premise, be through your hotel and restaurant liquor license?
Well, just to give you a little bit of background, so the facility itself is going to sit on 12 acres, and you may have seen it.
Yeah.
It's gone vertical, and it's quite exciting for both of us to go out and tour it on a weekly basis. The facility, it'll be very kind of winery estate-like, so there will be different buildings. So currently there are 4 different buildings, so the farmhouse will be in one building. Our brew house and tasting room will be in a second building. That will be connected via a bridge to the fermentation cellar. And then the 4th building will be our packaging, shipping, and receiving area. So in total, it's about 80,000 square feet, and about 9,000 square feet will be the restaurant, the farmhouse restaurant itself. To answer your question, there will be a small tasting room that is in the brew house itself, so that when tours, people who want to take a tour of the facility come, they will gather in that tasting room area. They'll get the background information, a little history, and then they'll take the tour, and then they'll come back and they'll have a tasting of the beers that we'll offer in that tasting room.
And that is that under this license, or will that be under the state through the brewery?
Well, this is a brew pub license, so the entire facility will be licensed as a brew pub.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
The tasting is permitted under that license?
It is.
Yes.
How many employees will you have that will be serving beer
That will be serving beer.
or alcohol?
We expect the restaurant to employ about 75 people, and of those 75 people, we expect that probably 50 of those will be serving alcohol, bartenders and servers.
Okay. And those are, you said they're going to be tips trained?
We require that, correct.
Great.
We've seen varying estimates of the timetable. Would you share it with us, please?
I'm sorry.
The timetable for completion of the brewing facility, opening the restaurant, production line, packaging, crowning, capping.
No pressure there. We're working hard with our general contractor. Tentatively, we expect the first brew, the test brew, to be in the middle of February. We expect to be packaging beer sometime in April, and we expect the farmhouse restaurant to open probably the latter part of April 2015.
With 9,000 square feet, what is the seating capacity at the farmhouse?
Well, the seating capacity will be about 325. The way it's going to be constructed, you'll walk in, there will be a growler station, there will be a bit of a general store, there will be a bar area, there will be what we call the north dining room, and there will be then the west dining room, or the great room, which will have a fireplace. There will be an outdoor porch that wraps around the entire kind of west and northwest facing portion of the restaurant. And then we'll have a beer garden as well.
Would you share with us how you handle ID checking in your other establishments and the record you've achieved with that?
Well, for the 10 places that we have, I think we've got a pretty good record. We have high volume places. We've had some missteps here and there. Just for the record, we do have a zero tolerance policy that anyone who serves a minor or an intoxicated person subject to automatic termination. The establishment that this is going to be a family-oriented destination brewery. We don't expect the type of patrons who are coming looking to kind of pull a fast one. We don't really expect a real hard-drinking younger crowd. But we'll play it, as it comes, and whatever measures we need to take based on how the business develops, rest assured we will take those.
Thank you.
Would you like to take a few minutes and present your petitioning briefly on a summary level, if you would, sir?
Well, we hired Oedipus Inc., so I can't guarantee that he'll be brief. But
I can.
So you all know Max Scott, and so we engaged Oedipus. They've done good work for us over the years, and so I will tender him, and you can ask him whatever questions you deem appropriate for the work that he did on our behalf.
Yeah, Max, if you would just present the top level of your numbers.
Sure. Page 5 is a defined neighborhood. Blue and pink designate the businesses and residences. A lot of the area is either right away or the plat. I'll just go right to the numbers. 28 businesses favoring 0 against, 145 residences favoring 5 against, and in this survey category, 97% favoring the issuance, and in the needs and desires category, essentially there were no people that said there's enough in the defined neighborhood. We have 100%. And I'd defer to staff, but I don't think there's a brew pub in this defined neighborhood. Is that not correct?
Not in that specific neighborhood, no.
So that's prima facie cause to issue the license right there. The needs aren't being met because there is no brew pub in the defined neighborhood, and that's all I have.
Any questions?
Kind of hard to read the blueprints.
That's a whole lot of information in a really tiny space. If you have a chance at any point to be invited on a tour, I highly recommend it.
We did that on purpose.
I have no questions about the petition. I don't? No?
With regards to the layout, since it's kind of hard to look at the layout of the farmhouse restaurant, can you describe the entry and exit from the facility? More so, I think, from what I know, it's supposed to have maybe a Platte River entrance or exit, maybe for bicyclists going by. If you can describe that kind of access to and from the facility.
Well, in terms of the bike access, actually Lee has been dealing with South Suburban extensively, and as you may or may not know, they're about to undergo a fairly major expansion and renovation of the bike path and the Reynolds Landing and stuff, and I'll let him speak to that since he's more intimately involved in that than I am.
Evening. So what we talked about, this is with Deb Brinkman and Michael Penny and the people from South Suburban, is the need to alleviate some of the traffic there, the current traffic at Reynolds Landing, and to improve the location. Are you all familiar with Reynolds Landing? So there are 4 effective water features there that they want to enhance, which will allow people to come down on inner tubes, which is effectively a circle in front of where the brewery will be across a meadow. And the goal will be to move the bike path back towards the brewery, the main path, and to create a parallel pedestrian path that goes along with that. And then there will be also a walking path that will go on the edge of the river. So the idea is to bring the riverbank to make it less steep in places to allow pedestrian access, and then to have a path so that all the foot traffic from Reynolds Landing will be able to stay on this path, which will be separated by 30 or 40 yards from the main bicycle traffic. And to accommodate any people who are interested in going directly to the brewery, there will be a roundabout on the south of the part of the path south of where the brewery is, which will allow you to go along the revised path, which will be very much like the old one, but further back. And then there'll be another path that will come along directly to the brewery. And then there'll be an opportunity to go from a little spur path off the Reynolds Landing parking lot to the brewery. So the brewery traffic can be directed away from the main pedestrian area and the heaviest use of the Platte right there. We don't anticipate there'll be much problem with any of the brewing traffic. It's just that it's likely to be used so much more by so many people going forward that there's definitely a need to really separate the bike traffic from the pedestrian traffic. At Reynolds Landing, they plan to put in 2 new full-service bathrooms. I believe they have approximately $1.5 million in secured grants. They're looking for matching grants as well to do a greater expansion of that potentially expansion of that parking lot as well.
And if I, just to make sure that we answer the question that you posed, we will have a lot of indoor-outdoor space. We'll have nanowalls on the back side facing the Platte, so you'll have kind of an unobstructed view of the mountains in the bike path and everything else. But the main entrance for anyone entering the establishment will be through the front door.
Mm. Will folks know when they're on your premise and when they're not, and where they can't go with a drink?
They will. We will have a fence around the entire 12 acres, so it'll be all enclosed with appropriate signage as well. If any of you would like a tour, you just let us know. It's I wouldn't recommend it if the temperature drops as it has the last couple of days, but we're very, very excited. It is going to be a world-class destination brewery, and will make Littleton very, very proud.
Well, the city of Littleton's very excited about your presence here, and
as are we.
We are very happy that your presentation is so clean, and there's really no basis that we would have for rejecting your application, but it's good to hear from you the way you have things worked out. And I have no further questions.
I have
Unless
no
somebody else does, you...
If not, then I will move to close the public hearing.
Wait, Donovan, real quick. Should we make sure there's no one else in the audience
yes.
that wants to testify? Very good.
No problem.
No relatives at all?
There's nobody here. Probably there's nobody that's going to speak.
I assumed. I would then move to close the public hearing and that a resolution of the Littleton Licensing Authority to approve, which grants Breckenridge Brewery, LLC, doing business as Breckenridge Brewery, 2920 Brewery Lane, Littleton, Colorado, a brew pub liquor license contingent upon the approval of the Colorado Liquor Enforcement Division and based upon the following findings of fact. One, that notice of the hearing was properly posted and published. Two, that the applicant has possession of the premises and the premises are suitable for the requested license. Three, that the needs of the neighborhood are now not being met. And four, that it is the desire of the adult inhabitants of the neighborhood that the license be issued. Five, that the existing similar liquor licenses in the designated neighborhood are not adequate. And six, that the applicant is a person of good moral character, record, and reputation.
Second.
City Clerk, would you poll the authority, please?
Authority Chair Bradish,
Yes.
Vice Chair Cole,
Yes.
Authority Member Lavier,
Yes.
Authority Member Mather,
Yes.
Authority Member Odell.
Yes.
Motion is carried. The license application is approved.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Welcome to Littleton.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Thanks.
According to the agenda, the next item would be item number 18, reports. Do we have any staff reports?
I don't.
Authority members?
No.
Nope.
And the chair does not have any reports, so
As a matter of curiosity, Mr. Chairman, do we know what's facing us in the next couple of months? We see a lot of notices and signs around town. I just wondered.
We do have one new one coming in December, and it's technically not new. They originally applied in October of 2013, 3 Patrios, and it's been postponed. They're finally coming before us for the December hearing. And then we may have another new one for January.
What's the
View
status of the old Crestwood building?
yeah,
Pinocchio's.
the old Pinocchios.
That actually, I have a transfer for that liquor license. They're
Okay.
looking to put in more of a sports bar there, and that transfer is still in process.
I read about the View House possibly opening in downtown.
The View House is, yes, they're before the Historic Preservation Board in the Blue Ribbon Stable, Bussard Motor Company property. So they're doing some renovations. So they're looking for they have to get basically a variance from the Historic Preservation Board for that.
So they're a ways away from a liquor license.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, they've got some construction to do.
Since you brought that up, I will go ahead and recuse myself from any proceedings with the View House as I have a family conflict there.
Okay.
So noted. Appreciate that. I hereby declare this meeting adjourned.